Hi everybody, I'm Shaw. In this video, we will be building a fence system for my budget-friendly table saw. Whether it's your first time here or you've been here before, welcome to Shaw Woodworking DIY. The fence that came with my trade professional table saw was very inaccurate. I tried cutting the fence pieces there, but dismal fail. Then I tried cutting with a straight edge and a circular saw, but that was a bust as well. Then I went back to the tried and tested, a table saw with a straight edge, and I got some accurate cuts. I cut two MDF pieces for bracing on the front and the back to keep the top nice and flat. The aluminium table saw top luckily came with some T slots on the bottom of it, so I used those to mount the MDF pieces. I used some carriage bolts as my T-track runners. I had to trim off the sides slightly to make it fit inside the track. The back bracing was tightened well. I left the front bracing a little bit loose to be tightened later on once I get the alignment properly with the fence system. I went on to mount a plywood piece to the bench, then had to align it to the table saw. That MDF piece that we left loose will be later mounted onto the plywood once everything is aligned well. Once I was happy with the alignment, I tightened the T-track bolts from the bottom, then later I screwed the plywood piece to the MDF piece. This is the rail component of the fence. Here I'm assembling the different parts of the fence. Don't worry, it will make sense soon. Stay tuned. I'm drilling an 8mm hole here that will help with the fence clamping system. Drilling some pocket holes on the bottom of the fence rail that will help with mounting later on. This is my rail runner that I'm assembling. I'm setting the height of my rail here with a couple of disc spacers to make sure that it runs smoothly. Once I'm happy with my rail height, then I go on to screwing the rail onto the face piece with those pocket holes that I made earlier on. This is the most important part about making a fence, so I triple checked everything before screwing everything down. Once the fence is square, then I go on and add the other components of this fence to make everything stay straight. Then I go ahead and chop a chopping board. This piece will be used later on in the video, you'll see. So I continue with the grinder. Now I'm chopping up a piece of metal ruler. This will be used in my fence clamping system, you'll see in a second. So the next day, after gluing the fence pieces together, I discovered that the 6mm dowel that I had used for that component with the fence, it did not go through to the other piece that I had assumed it would. Then I had to redo it again, but this time around I used an 8mm dowel and I drilled the small piece first before going on to the longer piece. These are the pieces that I was redoing just now. So with that 8mm hole that I drilled on the drill press, I will continue that hole onto the longer piece on the bottom, and I'll connect everything with glue and dowels, the 8mm dowel. Here I'm gluing 2 plywood pieces together to create a clamping device for my fence. I'm happy to announce that we have made it past 20 subscribers on my channel. Yay! If you're enjoying my content, a sub would be greatly appreciated. So with my clamping piece, I drilled all of these lines to try and figure out where the center was, and then I went up off center and drilled a hole there. This is very useful in the clamping mechanism of the device. Unfortunately or fortunately, my clamp was too strong, so it started cracking up there at the seam where I was trying to reinforce. So I had to come up with another plan to try and put it together. Here's that chopping board piece that we cut earlier on to be used on the far end of my fence. It will help with gliding off the fence across the table. So with that defect that I noted on my fence at the clamping area, I decided to use some 3mm plywood to reinforce the fence. Left that overnight to set, and I came back the next day, hit it with a little sanding, a little trimming off the edges, make it nicer. I got this piece of laminate. I applied it to the left side of the fence to ensure that everything slides well. I used a flush trim bit on my palm router to cut out all the excess on the laminate. I'm squaring up this notch with my oscillating tool attachment. That will be my viewfinder for my rule that I'll apply soon. With my fence touching the blade, I aligned my stick-on tape and I started sticking at the 0 mark onwards. With my fence build done, it is time to protect it with some paint. So I applied some black water paint on it, then hit it with a couple of coats of clear varnish. So that was a really fun build. I enjoyed making this fence, and this is one of the best I've ever made. So it is buttery smooth and accurate, the most important thing in a table saw fence, and it clamps down real good. So far I've made myself a pattern plywood that will be involved in next week's video. I'll be making myself a Moxon vise for my bench over there. So stay tuned for that one. Thank you very much for watching. Stay cool.